Now, the South African Communist Party is set to elect a new General Secretary. For the last 24 years, Blade Nzimande has been holding that position. Solly Mapaila, who has been Nzimande's first Deputy General Secretary, is in the running to replace him. The party is holding its 15th National Congress from today until Saturday. eNCA's Govan Whittles following those proceedings and is joining us now live from Boksburg in Ekurhuleni to give us the latest. Govan, very good afternoon to you. Day one of the Communist Party's week-long Congress, and where they're going to elect a new leadership. I've just mentioned the name, Solly Mapaila, Blade Nzimande on his way out after nearly a quarter of a century in charge. Just describe to us how things are going there.
Well, things are slowly getting started here, Dan, and as you alluded, this is the conference that will see the departure of Blade Nzimande from the General Secretary position. We spoke to him a little earlier about leadership issues and reflecting on his tenure as General Secretary of the party. He says that they made significant gains in growing membership, starting a few key campaigns, and then says that even though they were part of the administration of former President Jacob Zuma, they resisted when they could, and he admits that there were missteps taken by that administration, but doesn't believe that the SACP can shoulder the blame for him. Then on the leadership question, Blade Nzimande endorsing his deputy, Solly Mapaila, to take over from him, and saying if he's nominated for the position of national chairperson, he'll stand for that position. He won't be uncontested, though. Gwebs Konde said to contest for the position of national chairperson, so we may still see Mr. Nzimande contesting at this conference for a different position. But what is going to happen at this conference and what significance is there to draw from today's events and the next 3 days' events? We'll discuss some of these with one of the guests from COSATU that we have here. But before we get to that, let's take a look at some commentary from the outgoing General Secretary of the SACP about the leadership of this party. Dr. Nzimande, you've noted that you're stepping down as the General Secretary of the party. Will you be available for another position like National Chairperson?
If the SACP membership says so, I am available, because I'm not leaving the SACP. I'm not leaving politics. I'm not saying I need to be in a position. But if the membership says so, well, go, we are deploying you there. I'm more than happy to do that, as I have done over the last 24 years. The SACP has actually been able to say you must actually go and serve there. I'm not leaving the SACP. I'm not leaving politics.
And do you want your deputy, Solly Mapaila, to take over from you as General Secretary?
Well, that's not my choice. That would actually be the choice of Congress. But if you ask me, he definitely is one of our very capable comrades.
Very diplomatic answer there to you about who's going to succeed him. He says, well, it's going to be up to the Congress of the South African Communist Party. That's the outgoing Blade Nzimande. You have a guest with you, Govan?
I do indeed, Braden. He's the first Deputy President of COSATU, Mr. Mike Shingange. He's here as an alliance partner. The President of COSATU, Zingiso Losi, will be speaking a little later. Let's just talk to Mr. Shingange. It has been described as the end of an era, the departure of Dr. Blade Nzimande from the General Secretary position. How significant do you think this conference is?
Well, the Congress itself is very significant. That is a 15th Congress of the party, and of course, it's significant if you take into consideration the context within which it's taking place, in terms of the fate and the status of the working class and all the socio-economic issues that are bedeviling the society today. So this Congress, we hope that is going to provide a direction going forward. With regard to what you call the end of an era or the departure of Comrade Blade, we do think that the Comrade Blade has given it all. I mean, he has served for over 24 years, and we think that it's also even good that he himself, first, not only did he decide to do departure, but he also identified his success in terms of the taking over of the party. It's what we call an orderly transition from one leadership to another. That's how the party we've always known it to be. So it's very significant that, because indeed the party needs to turn the corner. It needs a more agile, it needs to run on the ground, it needs to mobilize society, it needs to really provide a direction direction for the future of this country.
This conference also significant because both COSATU and the SACP coming under increased pressure from its unions, its branches, to question its continued endorsement of the ANC, questioning the alliance. How important is this conference for the alliance, and what are some of the main points it needs to focus on when it comes to the alliance?
In any case, this period, there's a pressure for all three political parties that are forming part of the alliance. The ANC itself is going to a conference, COSATU is going to a congress, the parties in the congress today. So we have to decide, all three of us, what is it that we want society to continue to think that the alliance is relevant. So we have to resolve in this congress whether or not we're still prepared to lead society going forward, or otherwise we are tired of leading, or otherwise society must lead itself. So indeed, it's a very serious discussion that we have to have, because if you look at all the things that, as I said, that are facing society today, it is incumbent on the leading alliance, the leadership of the society, to be responsible, to be responsive of the issues, but also to provide solution and provide direction. To an extent that we might seem to be falling behind and society doubting us, it's a matter that we are provided an opportunity both in this Congress, in September in COSATU, and also in December in the ANC, to retrospect and make sure that we once again re-engineer ourselves in the hearts and mind of society on whether or not they should trust us in leading this country.
All right, thank you so much. That's Mike Shingange. He's the first deputy president of COSATU. He's also put it very diplomatically, Bradan, but some of the delegates at this conference will certainly raise that issue of contesting state power very sharply, as they've done at other conferences. And of course, as COSATU goes to its national conference, that's also one of the matters that's being discussed. We'll be here for that opening address by the outgoing national chairperson, Senzeni Zokwana, which will be followed by that message from the COSATU president, and we'll bring you all of that live.
Thank you very much, Govan Whittles. There from the Congress of the South African Communist Party. A new era is coming as the old one makes way under Bladen Nzimande. He's an outgoing General Secretary.